Hi everyone, I am Jovelyn Dologan. I am from BSIT DIT 11. So for today's vlog, we're going to tackle about the hair color selection chart, the color theory, and the classification of hair color. A hair color selection chart shows tones from blonde to black and make it easier to find a color in a particular range in its possible appearance on hair strands. The majority of charts provides many options for each of the main colors and in cool, warm, and neutral tones. So here is the example of hair color chart. This is a brown hair dye, which is screenshot na siya nako gikan sa Google. Okay, so how do you read a hair color chart? So sayo na ni siya kaayo. So all hair colors are numbered on a level system between 1 and 10. As a number gets higher, the color gets lighter. So for example, level 1 is black, then level 5 is medium brown, and level 10 is lightest blonde. All other levels represent the shades that fall in between those colors. So by number lang siya. So level 1, di kayo tanto. So hangtod sa level 10, ang pinaka higher lighter na siya nga colors sa pagka-blonde ga buhok. So here is the example of hair color level. So first light, then hangtod sa number level 10 is pinaka lightest na siya. So this is according to hollywoodhair.com. Okay, so let's proceed now to another topic, and it is all about the color theory. So color theory is a term used to refer to the science of how color works. It explains what happens when you add multiple colors together, or when you remove a tone or hue from a color. So in hair, color theory means much the same thing, only applied specifically to hair. By understanding color theory, you can primitively understand what your client's hair will look like before you perform a service or treatment. For example, how their original canvas will mix with the colors you introduce, or what colors and tones will be left behind after you lift, or etc. So this is the example of a color theory. It has a similar to a color wheel. And kiba ko nga familiar na taani kay because nakaagi na madritani pag elementary, di ba? So more na gyapon siya. So dapat ato na siya makatunan in order to how to blend the two color in order to have the desired color nga atong iday sa atong hair. So this understanding will allow you to manage your client's expectations kung magamit ka color theory. So dapat yun nato na ingana ang importante na dapat to kat anunon ang color theory. So create a plan to get them from their starting point to their desire and goal. And consider alternatives in the event that they change their mind. And consider possible pitfalls or consequences to your treatment, such as blonde hair, makalkag buhok. So tips for mastering color theory. So unsa man nato pagkahibaw nga ang color nga black o white is ang outcome is ash gray. So inganingon na siya. So number 1, become friends with the color wheel, or what we call the color theory. So dapat na siya a friendly hon. So each picture that someone brings you as inspiration for their hair has a tone to it. In order to achieve that tone, you have to formulate properly, adding just the right color to the base canvas. In order to formulate properly, you have to understand color theory. And in order to understand color theory, you have to understand the color wheel. So unsa ang angay himuon? Simple lang. So mag-practice ka og mix. So simply put, you should reference the color wheel every step of the way, from your hair consultations all the way to your actual formulation. Whether you are doing gray coverage, total shifting, tonal balance, glossing, tint backs, melting, smudging, or anything else you need to basic understanding. So, mao na siya ang mga dapat paghimon ang tonal shifting, ang gray coverage, o total balance. Mao na siya. So, number 2, take your time. In learning color theory, it's important to go slow and go over each piece as many times as you need to truly get it. You will most likely make mistakes because mistakes is a process to improve. But everyone does. Try everything you're questioning out on a mannequin or swatches. This helps to avoid mistakes on real clients. So, as a technique, para makadiskarte ka, para usahan mo pag-practice, you should example the mannequins or swatches. Para po, dili ma-usik ang kung tuod kag real clients. So, the third, don't forget the hair underlying pigments. All hair has underlying pigments that will affect the final outcomes of your formula. And yet, analyzing pigments is something that a lot of stylists forget to focus on. This can wreak havoc on your end result and leave you with a less than happy client. So when you understand what these are and how to combat them, with each formulation will come out better. This goes for all scenarios from lifting and analyzing raw lift to avoiding brassiness in rust colors. Taking underlying pigments into consideration will make or break your finish. So number 4 is never stop learning. As what did I said, you will never stop learning and relearning color theory. There will simply always be a new situation that challenges you and requires you to learn something new. Never be afraid to go back to your roots and go over it all again. Keep a color wheel in the back room to remind yourself of the basics. You will be surprised how many times you look at the chart. Once you feel like you've mastered the basics, consider investing in more advanced education that allows you to dig even deeper and become even better at what you love. So, last but not the least, the classification of hair colors. So, hair dye can be classified into 5 categories according to the type of dye, its persistence of the hair. Those are temporary, semi-permanent, permanent, metal salt, and botanical hair color. And I put the link below. So first, the semi-permanent hair dye is a non-damaging short-term way to color your hair. So, in short, mo ni siya ang semi-permanent, which is it will last to 4 to 6 weeks. So second is the permanent hair dye. Mo ni siya ang pang forever gajod. Ug gusto kag dugay, use the permanent hair dye ug walay kamahayan. Permanent na jud ka ug okay, di ka magmahay sa mong tibok kinabuhi. So permanent hair dye can changes hair color and hair structures, and it's the best and longest lasting gray coverage option of all varieties of hair color. So third is the metallic salts. Are metallic compounds used in nearly all standard store both hair dyes. They're sold as progressive hair dyes that blend and look more natural over time. These dyes are metallic based. The colors are produced by a reaction between metallic salts and sulfur in your hair protein, and which is magstay ni siya within 1 to 2 years. So, meron po ni siya kanang temporary rapod, pero mabot siya tuig. So, the fourth is the botanical hair color. So, mo ni siya is a 100% natural. It is free of hydrogen peroxide. the chemical that lightens the natural color of hair. Botanical color causes no white hair or does not fade your natural color hair, unlike chemical hair colors that contain hydrogen peroxide. So, ang example ani niya is ang kanang tina, magpatina og buhok. Mo ni siya ang botanical hair color na 100% natural, walang halong chemical. So, the last but not the least is ang mga temporary jud. The temporary hair color that does not penetrate the cortex or the hair. So instead, it coats the outside of the hair shaft with color that washes out through shampoos. So, matangtang na ni siya imong shampoohan. So, pang temporary ra jud siya. Pang talking stage, char. So, that's all for today's topic. And let us recall, those are the hair color selection chart, the color theory, and the classification of hair color. So, thank you for listening. So, thank you and God bless once again.